the gorgeous Caroline Labouchere.
So I learned to be an upholsterer. I learned to do nails. I've worked in a supermarket, worked in a bar.
She started over in her 50s.
It was just the right time. I was always something to somebody. You've made me nervous now. My money is my money.
Okay.
His money is our money. It makes my husband happier because I'm happy. I'm braver now.
You're not allowed to think of yourself as beautiful, and now you boldly embrace your beauty.
I'm being paid to go to the Maldives. That, to me, is totally insane.
I think women have the same problems everywhere.
Maybe be a bit selfish. How can you look after your family if you don't look after yourself first? And David and I fully expect to live to 100 years old.
And you were one of the main reasons why I started Female Formula. Today we embark on a very inspiring journey as we explore the story of the gorgeous Caroline Labouchere, a story that inspired me personally. I'll tell you later how. This is an episode on self-discovery and adapting to change. Thank you very much for being here today.
Thank you. You've made me nervous now.
I know you don't know the story, I'll tell you. But
I don't even know what we're going to talk about.
I know.
Which I quite like, actually. I like to wing it.
Okay, so if I ask you to introduce yourself, what would you say?
That is the worst question of all the questions that I get asked. My husband says, just say you're a model. I say, but I'm not a model.
You're much more than that.
Well, thank you for that. I have felt comfortable saying I don't know what I am yet because I haven't reached where I'm going. I don't know what I'm going to be tomorrow, let alone today. So that is what I have said in the past. Am I an influencer? I do influence, so I guess I am an influencer, but I don't like that term. So I haven't really come up with do I have to have a word?
No, it doesn't have to be a word. If you talk about yourself, if you introduce yourself now, what would you say about Caroline?
That I'm passionate about encouraging women in their middle years to be excited about life.
And how does your life look before and after modeling and finding your passion?
It's a lot more exciting now. I'm braver now, and I'm a completely different person. My husband and my children would agree with that.
In what sense?
I was always something else. I was always something to somebody. So I was a daughter, I was a wife, I was a mother. I'm still all of those things, but above all of those, I'm me. Now I have found the person that I am, that I probably always was, but wasn't allowed to be. So that is...
You were not allowed to be, or you did not know that you wanted to be that person?
I did not know that I wanted to be. Correct.
Yeah.
Because there are always people telling you what to do. And you are groomed groomed always sounds such a bad word to say, doesn't it? You are molded as a child. And then my husband was in the military, so there again, you have to fit in the box.
Feels like you live different lives. But now you say that
I felt a bit like Madonna sometimes.
But now you say you're living your happiest days.
Yes.
Why do you think is that? Because you
I'm
found your
doing
passion?
what I want to do when I want to do it. Okay. And it makes my husband happier because I'm happy. And my children are happy. I think seeing that there is more to life. And I think that's what I get across to younger people in their 35, 40s, that life can be more exciting. You don't have to get everything in your 20s and your 30s. It just gets better as you age.
And in your case, you were not that happy in your 20s and your 30s where people live their happiest days. Most of people.
It's a very confusing time, though. I don't know. I mean, there were phases where I thought they were the happiest days. Did some pretty silly things. I don't regret anything. I think as long as you don't hurt somebody, you get to make mistakes. That's how you
process,
learn.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that goes on all the way through to my age and beyond, I'm sure.
how did this change happen? I know it came by coincidence that someone offered you a modeling job and this was not something on your mind. But how did you embrace this change? Also because I read that you had a unique childhood. You were not allowed to embrace your beauty. You were not allowed to think of yourself as beautiful. And now you boldly embrace your beauty. How did you come to that?
Yeah, it's a funny thing. I mean, Mum didn't wear makeup. She had grey hair. She was in the gardening. It was her passion. And we had a very big house. We didn't have a lot of help. So she would literally start cleaning at one end of the house, and by the time she'd got to the other end, she had to start at the beginning again. And that is what I remember as a child, and having piano lessons and having to practice piano, but it was in the coldest room in the house. So it was I can't complain. It was a very good life. We didn't have a lot of money. We just had a very big house with land. So I had a pony.
It's weird when you say we didn't have money, but I had a pony.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because we had a field.
Sounds quite luxurious.
But I didn't have the best saddle. It wasn't the best pony. She used to buck me off and she'd go home without me 50% of the time we went out for a hack. So she was not a great pony. I actually won a premium bond. Do you know what premium bonds are? They're kind of, they're government things, and you buy a ticket and it just sits there, and then one day, if you're lucky, you get a note saying, your premium bond won, and it was £500, and I bought my pony for the £500.
It was like a lottery.
Sort of. But it was a very long time ago before lotteries. And so I had the pony, and then we already had the field, and we had the stable. It was all falling apart, but we had everything, because being a very old house, part of it was 1603 Queen Anne. So it had everything. The stables would have been built with it. So it wasn't modern and lush and working order. And
how did this shift happen? Now that you're a model, you embraced your beauty, you seem very confident, but didn't have this as a child. Did you have to work on yourself to get to this point? Or it just came naturally?
I think it came more, each day that I grow, it becomes more natural because I know more about myself. I think when you're young, it's very hard to know yourself. And it takes a long time to actually know whether it's you making this decision or somebody else making it for you, and knowing if it's the right thing for you. So I look back and I look at my wedding dress and I look at our wedding, and I didn't have many choices in our wedding. These weddings back then, I don't know if it's the same for you, but they're really for your parents. So they organize it, they pay for it, they invite all of their friends. So the minimum amount of people would be people who I had invited. So it wasn't kind of like the weddings are today. Not like my daughter's wedding was.
It was a beautiful wedding. I saw the pictures on Instagram.
It was mind-blowing. I can't imagine ever going to a wedding like that again in my life.
It was beautiful.
Incredible. So things were very different back then. I mean, we're talking 33 years. We've been married this year. So it was a while ago.
How did your journey, because you were a stay-at-home wife for a while.
Yeah, because we moved every year, every 2 years.
And you were living in the shadow of your husband, who was in the military.
For sure.
And now you're under the spotlight. You're making money. How did this change the dynamics of your marriage?
It's been good. David says, you followed me for 30 years. I'm now following you. And he is more than happy
That's cute.
to follow me. I know it is. He's a triathlete, so he's out of the house exercising for hours and hours and hours. And I'm busy with my life, but we come together, and either I cook supper, he doesn't cook. He can fry an egg. It's about as far as it goes. So either I cook supper, or we go out for supper, or we get a takeaway. So we always come back together. And during the summer here, he's out at 2:00 in the morning. And is back by the time I'm getting up.
It's good that he's okay with it, because honestly, sometimes men are men.
Yeah.
no matter which culture they come from, their backgrounds. But I think there's something in men that they want to be in the lead. They want to be the providers. But now that he's
still the provider.
Okay.
My money is my money.
Okay.
His money is our money.
Okay.
Just putting that out there.
Yeah.
That's the way it's always been, and that's the way it is. And he's fine with that. He always has been. And he's so easygoing. He's an Aries. I don't know if that means anything to anyone, but he's really easygoing, very kind.
And what's your sign?
I'm a Leo.
Okay, wow.
What are you?
Gemini.
Ah, is that the scales?
The Gemini is that double personality, they say.
Ah.
It's like the people who have mood swings. And
do you?
I don't see that. No.
No, of course I don't.
I don't think so.
Yeah, he's really, really easygoing. And I think it's better that he has his own thing. And he comes first and second in his triathlons. You know, he's puts a load of hours into this and actually wins world championships. So he's happy doing what he does. And if I'm happy, I'm not going to bug him. So it's a win-win.
Which was not the case in the past.
Which was not the case in the past.
Because no. I understand you had your ups and downs in the marriage.
Yeah, because when are you coming home? What? Why do you have to be out there for 4 hours? No.
Because you had nothing to do.
No. No. Well, I always had part-time jobs. So I learned to be an upholsterer. I can actually make a sofa from scratch.
Oh, really?
Yes. I learned to do nails. I did my nails. And I've done so many things. I've worked in a supermarket. I've cooked breakfasts in a cafe, worked in a bar. I've always gone out and done something because I love people. I've always loved people. And that's what makes me, I think, most excited about this time in my life when I get to meet so many people.
And also, for a very long time, you were focused on parenting your kids. You were just a mother. This was your main thing.
Listen to that. Did you hear that sentence? Just a mother.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I know, but it's just so easy to say these things.
Yeah.
So David says to people, oh yeah, I'm an age athlete. I'm an old man. I said, David, take that back. Listen to the words you're using. Because I don't believe that we are old. In your 50s and 60s these days, you are not old. My grandmother was 97 when she died. She was old. And David and I fully expect to live to 100 years old. So therefore, we are not old now. But he still uses the term.
It's just what we're used to.
I know. Yes.
Looking back at your parenting style and with all the new parenting techniques and positive discipline, if you're parenting now, would you do it differently?
Would I do it? Well, we didn't have help like so many people do here. Would I do it differently? David left Mimi when she was 2 weeks old. He went to Bosnia for 10 months, so he didn't see her for 10 months. I did have help then because Max and Mimi, one was 2 and Mimi was just born. And then I broke my arm. So I did have some help, I know. I would try to be more patient. Patience is not one of my virtues. I don't know how I would become more patient with them. Reading, learning to read, for example. I'd say, I can't do this. I just can't do that. And you don't know, in the book you have to write, we read page 5 to 9. He did very well. I'd just say, I didn't have the patience tonight. because realistically, I felt I would make the situation worse if I had to read page 5 to 9 and I'm going, it says on, no, on. So I just say, I'm sorry, I couldn't do it tonight.
And you were doing it most of the time on your own?
Yeah.
Because he was away most of the time?
Yeah.
So it was quite challenging.
It was, yes. 23 months between them. Very different. When you have another one, you'll see how different they can be. We've got Max, who is easygoing. Max, don't do that. Okay, he's never going to do it. Mimi, don't do that. Why? I don't know if that's a girl-boy thing, but
maybe it's a personality. I don't know. I only have a girl.
Don't cross the road because it's dangerous. So she would put her foot on the road and say, nothing happened.
Ah, she's smart.
Yeah. Very smart.
And she started modeling before you did.
She did when she was 14.
You didn't realize that this is something you wanted to do?
Not at all.
When she started modeling?
Not at all. No, not at all. And in fact, we did a shoot back in 2015, which we were not paid for. It was just I can't even remember how it came across, but I literally hid behind her. I did not enjoy the process at all.
And how did this shift happen?
It was just the right time. I was invited. It was just me. I was flown to London. I got the job, and I was shown the clothes I was going to wear, Victoria Beckham, Ralph Lauren, and I loved the clothes. I loved the whole thing they were doing. So I got there was the makeup artist, a hairdresser, the director, the stylist, and I just felt amazing. And it just all worked out.
But the thing is, you were not looking for your passion. It just happened by coincidence.
Yeah, and I don't know whether I love modeling, and every time I do, I don't know what to expect because realistically, I haven't been doing it for that long. So it's always exciting and it's always different. Sometimes I don't like the clothes I'm wearing. But generally, it's just a new experience.
It's fun, honestly. Yeah.
It is. I do quite like having my makeup done.
But do you think women should keep trying to find their passion? Because I'll tell you something. I was saying at the beginning that you inspired me. You don't know the story. When I first saw you, we're neighbors. When I first saw you around, I didn't know who you were, but I thought she must be someone because she always looks gorgeous.
Oh, wow.
And then I had my friend one time over and she said she recognized you and she showed me your Instagram account. And I read your story and I was like, she started over in her 50s and I'm reluctant to start my show and in my 30s because I think it's too late and I've already been engaged in so many other jobs and everyone has been doing their podcasts recently and it's just too late. And then I was like, no, it's not too late. I can just start now. And you were one of the main reasons why I started Female Formula.
Amazing.
But you didn't realize you had passion and you didn't go after your passion. But would you encourage women to try to get out of their comfort zones and try to find their passions early on in their life?
Yes, I really believe that everybody has a passion. And I also believe that a huge majority of people don't know what their passion is and they think it's too late. So I suggest to people that they write down their thoughts and they talk to people. Because you know what women are like when they get together, if they have coffee and they just talk, it can be one word from you that you didn't even know you said that lit me up inside and made me go home and think a little bit more about it. And so it can be anything, but it's got to be something that makes you happy. So when you get home, make notes and stick them on the wall, put them on the fridge, and just keep adding words to them. And there'll be a light bulb moment where you think, I'm going to do that. Whether it's weaving baskets or, I don't know, being a hairdresser at home. And then another scenario, people say, I can't afford to join a group. Start your own group. Because there will be so many people in the same situation as you. And if you give, you get back. And that's what makes you happy.
You think you only become happy when you find your passion?
Yes, because I think it's deep inside everybody. And if you don't go for your passion, whose passion am I going for? I think it's so easy, especially in your 50s, 60s. I'm 60 in July, and I think it's so easy to just think, okay, well, I'll wait and become a grandmother. I'll wait. Why? Wait. Be excited to wake up every morning because you don't know what possibility there's going to be. I'm going to the Maldives on Sunday. I'm working. I'm being paid to go to the Maldives. That, to me, is totally insane. I wouldn't have thought that was going to happen a year ago. I mean, it's an amazing life, and you have to believe. And even if that's not even on your radar, you just have to believe life can be better than it is right now. There are going to be bumps. There are always bumps. We were talking about this on the way here. Life is a roller coaster. But if you don't go through the downs, then it would be boring.
Definitely.
Really.
Definitely. And because you went through a lot with your husband, you went through a lot with your self-discovery journey. And I think this is why you came to this conclusion that you're now living your happiest days. You don't feel old. You don't feel it's too late. You don't feel like...
Well, having seen my grandmother also in England, I don't know if it's the same in Egypt, that our old people go to old people's homes.
Sometimes, but
So-
it's not very common in Egypt. Sometimes
In England, it's very common, and it's incredibly sad. We were traveling around, so we couldn't take Granny with us. We were never in England, and she didn't want to go and live with Mum, so she was in an old people's home. But it was she was free to do whatever she wanted. But the thing is that once you start that road, you then go on to the hospice because you can no longer walk down the stairs, or you can't cook for yourself. And it's just, she'd sit there looking out the window all day. And so David and I are on a mission not to do that. That is our
But
mission.
is it a lot of work to stay fit and healthy, or it just becomes a lifestyle at some point?
It's definitely a lifestyle. You just have to move. You don't have to go to the gym. I'm trying to do the splits before my birthday. I hate to tell you that I've been doing it for months and months and it still hasn't happened. I was there this morning and I'm sort of about that far off, which is actually a really
That's good.
long
You still
way.
have 2 months.
She's going to have to sit on me, literally, and squidge me down. I said to them, I only have to do it once, and then I never have to do it again.
Once before my 60th birthday.
That is my mission. David's mission is to be the oldest person to do an Ironman. So he's hoping to do that into his 90s.
Wow. I love that.
I know. So we have to keep on each other. We recently did a challenge on Instagram where we had to put our shoes and socks on, standing on one leg. I don't know if you saw that. So you're standing there and you have to lift up sock, shoe, foot, sock, shoe. And David wasn't as good as me. So every day I say to him, you've got to keep doing it. And sitting up straight, and you would just remind each other all the time, don't moan and groan every time you get up off the sofa because you're acting like an old person. So yeah, we try to keep each other younger.
And what do you think is the secret of the success of your marriage?
There again, people might be bored with me saying this, but I say that I've trained him for 33 years and I don't want to train another one. Can't think of anything worse. Dating, I feel so bad. I have so many female friends who are single and it's tough, really tough. The grass is not greener. David is amazing. He's really annoying sometimes. I'm really annoying sometimes. But there's nobody perfect.
Exactly. Yeah.
And we know each other very well. So we know how to push each other's buttons and we know how to apologize afterwards.
So this is the secret.
Yeah. He'd say he says sorry more than I do.
So you're forgiving, both of you.
I might say he's more forgiving than me. I don't know, girls hold on to things for longer.
Yeah. It's just, I think we have stronger memory.
We are elephants, yes. Yeah.
They just tend to forget the problems.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right.
They just drop them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but luckily my son does that. So that's the boy-girl dynamics. Mimi and I can go on for a few days.
Oh, really? Yeah.
But Max, it's gone as soon as it started.
Do you think men are easier to deal with? They're less dramatic?
Oh, 100%. Don't you? I really, so much easier.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But I wouldn't be without my girl for anything.
No, I love girls.
Yeah. So we message each other from a changing room. It's like, do you like this? What do you think?
And I see you modeling together and going to events together. It's fun.
It is good fun. Yeah, I love it.
Now
really,
you're more friends than a mother and a daughter.
Yeah, but I do have to remind her I'm the mummy sometimes. I'm the mummy.
When do you need to do that?
Every day.
Why?
Because she tells me what to do, and she starts getting mummy-ish. Makes me feel like a child.
Well, maybe that's cute as well.
Oh no, it's not. It's exhausting. It's exhausting, but I think it's very normal, and I'm probably like that with my mother.
You're like
I think probably. Yeah. Mum, you shouldn't be eating this. Why are you eating this?
I think it's a female instinct.
Yeah. To look after each other.
Look after people around you.
Yeah.
What is your advice to younger people, younger women especially, who tend to stay in their comfort zones, who are just, society doesn't expect much from women. If they're only housewives, if they're only parenting, if they're only staying at home, that's fine. If they're doing something outside the house, that's an extra thing. Unlike men, they have to be outside, they have to have accomplishments and achievements and so on. So I think maybe women tend to be laid back or live in comfort zones more than men. But you got out of your comfort zone many times. You moved a lot during your life.
We had to make a new home so often.
Exactly.
But that's what we're good at.
You
making
change
nests.
jobs, you learn new things all the time.
Yes, new people, having to fit in.
How do women do that? What is one advice you would give younger women?
Gosh, definitely make mistakes. You have to make mistakes, as we said earlier on. Don't expect life to be perfect. Don't expect to get things right all the time. You're learning the whole time, and having children is tough. Being in a relationship is tough. You have to learn all of those things. So with time, you become wiser. You know when to be quiet, I think. I think young people expect too much of themselves. So maybe sit back and don't expect too much of yourself. Give yourself a break. You are only 25. You are only 27. In the grand scheme of things, that is not that old.
They want to see results really fast.
Yes. Yeah, and they want to excel. And then they want to add things to their bow, which is fine. But there is a time when you can just sit back and be you and just chill. Just enjoy a day and just don't put so much pressure on yourself. I mean, there's going to be enough pressure put on you without putting it on yourself. And I think so many women of my age it's expected of them to be at home all day. And so you've got children at university. You'd spend all term time waiting for them to come home, doing things for them at home, even though they're not there, because you don't know what else to do. That's the way you've been molded. So maybe stop and think about yourself. Maybe be a bit selfish. And
I like that.
Think
it's not
about
selfish.
What you want.
It's not selfish. If you're not happy, now your husband is happier with you because you're a happier person. If you're not happy,
yes,
the people around you will not be as happy. They'll definitely be, your kids will be happier if you're happy. Your husband will be happier if you're happy. So it's not selfish of you. It's actually, you need to think of yourself as much as you think of the people around you.
Yeah. And your kids will also learn from that. Yeah. If you say no to them, I'm sorry, I can't cook supper for you tonight because I'm going out. Well, hang on a minute. Why are you going out? Well, because I'm a person in my own right, and this is what I'm doing tonight. So they learn that you are actually a human being You're not just
mothers are usually taken for granted.
100%. Totally.
Did your kids take you for granted at some point?
Oh, for sure. And even I would say to David, why don't I have a birthday cake for my birthday? The kids have birthday cakes. I buy you a birthday cake.
And no one.
I don't have one unless my daughter says, Daddy, you've got to buy a cake for Mum. He doesn't think that way. And then, that's not a slight on my husband. I think that's very normal to not think of the mother as a person because you're everything, but you're not your own identity.
She's the one who takes care of everyone.
Exactly. So
not
if you
the
want
other way around.
Buy it yourself. What colour did you buy? Because you wanted to buy that colour.
Yeah.
It's easily done, though, just to slip into that way of life. And I know so many women of my age, people I love dearly, who don't look after themselves medically either. They have issues. And yet they go and sit in the hospital looking after their father-in-law. Okay, well, you're in the hospital. Your father-in-law's asleep. Go and see the doctor and get that problem sorted out. Oh, no, I haven't got time.
I think women have the same problems everywhere because it's the same. It's the same back home. It's the same in Egypt.
But how can you look after your family if you don't look after yourself first?
Yeah, I always tell my friends that. If you don't take good care of yourself, you're even if you're just doing it for your kids, your kids need you in the best shape possible.
Yes. And also, I think women are really good at talking about this stuff and surrounding yourself with the right women who are brave enough to talk about things. I know menopause is probably talked too much about these days, but perimenopause starts at the age of 37 generally. So women need to know that far back to be tracking their cycles. And
I never knew about that except from you. Because I saw you talking about it once.
Important.
I've never heard of this.
And then women say, oh, I don't have any symptoms. You don't know what the symptoms are. You've got headaches. You're losing your hair. You're not sleeping.
Starting 37.
So it starts 10 years before menopause, approximately.
So 37, 40.
Yeah, so
early
you need
40s.
to track your cycles so that you know what they're doing, which my daughter already does at the age of 27, and your mood. It's a really good idea to make a note of your mood, because you may go to the doctor and they say, oh, you're depressed, so then they give you medication for depression, but actually it's probably part of perimenopause.
But even doctors don't talk about it. I've never heard of it.
Doctors know about it.
Oh, really?
You have to find a good doctor. On my page, in my highlights, I've got menopause doctors from all over the world, a huge list of them. And if you can't find a good doctor in your area, message me and I will find one for you. It's imperative. And you have to find one that is pro-HRT, because even if you are not, you have to know this and that. If you go to somebody who is anti-HRT, you will never know. I'm on HRT and I will be on it forever.
Are you planning to keep advocating for these issues? Are you planning for something else in the near future?
Whatever issues I have, I believe other people have. So I'm marching on with that. So I've got a little bit of osteopenia. So I have a DEXA scan every year. And it's just a good idea to keep on top of yourself. I had an angiogram, which it's the gold standard when it comes to getting your heart checked. Some people just have a fit test. But one woman messaged me from Abu Dhabi and said, I went and had a fit test because I saw you on Instagram and it was fine. But I sat down and the nurse said, I just need to double check something. And she had an angiogram straight away and 2 stents. She would have gone home and had a heart attack. She was 62. I mean, it makes me go all goosebumpy.
So just go ahead and raise awareness on anything that you encounter.
Yes.
That's amazing.
It's so important.
It's become a life mission for you, huh?
It has. It absolutely has, and I love it. I love talking to people. I love finding out what their issues are, what they need, and helping them find what they need. So I don't know anything about anything, but I know somebody who does.
Yeah, I see you interviewing experts all the time.
Yeah, but I don't remember quite a lot.
It's
Brain
fine.
fog.
You're not the expert on the
I'm
topic.
not the expert, for sure.
But thank you. Thank you so much, Caroline, for being here today.
You are very welcome.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you.